What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. We are on day 29. How about that? Okay, one more day of this challenge, this heel elevated air squat challenge. But it's heel elevated, and if you're even a bigger baddie, then use some resistance and add a weight. So anyway, I hope you guys, if you're doing it, I love it. I'd love to hear about it. If you are not even sure what I'm doing, go back to episode 1. Okay, go follow me on Instagram at the real Tina Parker, and you will see each day I've been sharing not my full workout, but just, a few moves that I'm doing it, in the morning. And, you can do this at home. You can do 100 air squats at home. Okay. It's just about changing one thing in your life, a habit, creating new habits, replacing them with old, outdated habits, because you're changing your life. You know that, right? Yeah, you're changing your life. And I would have gotten all dolled up for you guys today. This is my dolled up for you today. We've got a meeting of high school girls in the ladies' room. So this is it. Okay, this is what you get. Is today Thursday or Friday? It's Thursday. Yes. So we're talking faith and finances and the identity shift that every woman needs to make. You ready to talk about it? Today, day 29, and this one might be the most important day of your financial life, ladies. Faith without stewardship or leadership is spiritual wishful thinking. Leadership without faith is self-reliance. I feel like I need to put my glasses on. I try sometimes not to wear them. But, I am getting up there. Your true financial power comes when the two are united. Okay, you want faith and you want finances, and we're going to dive into that. Why? Okay, then transition into identity. Okay, women of faith cannot afford to stay financially confused, passive, or afraid. I don't want you to be passive. I don't want you to be scared. Okay, can't have that nonsense. We all been through enough that we can, get through anything. Okay, you are the bank. I want you to think like the bank, not, you are the bank, not the borrower. Okay, you are a leader and you are the asset. Okay, you're leading for your children. You're leading for the next generation. Okay, here's why women get stuck financially. All right, women get financially stuck because of old emotional pain loops, hijack decision making. So you get this thought, oh, my parents told me that money comes with fear, or money doesn't grow on trees. I better save, I have $10, I better save it. I have $100, I better save it, whatever. But if money is supposed to circulate, it's supposed to flow like energy. You know what I mean? Like you want your energy to flow. Okay, money is the same. Everything is energy. All right? Because you want it to come back to you. Get it? Okay. Money becomes tied to fear, shame, or scarcity. Because a lot of our parents, let's be real, they were like, and their parents were even worse. All right? They didn't get it. Childhood conditioning becomes financial programming. Lack identity gets wired into self-worth. Fear becomes a survival reflex. And financial confusion triggers avoidance. So if you are a woman in survival mode, okay, you can be faithful and still financially blocked if your mind is stuck in past scarcity patterns. You have to unlearn all the BS that you were taught by leaders, the government. It came at us from everywhere. Educational system. You better get it. You better go to college or you're not going to make any money. Well, shit, I know a lot of people that didn't even graduate high school, okay? And they're billionaires. So, stop, okay? We got to stop that shit, all right? I was a dropout, and I went all the way up the ladder to vice president in the bank. I didn't even get past pre-algebra. So, we need to stop with that bullshit. They're lies. That's limiting beliefs is what it is. They didn't mean to. They just had limiting beliefs because their parents had limiting beliefs, and it just cycles. So we need to be the cycle breakers. You get it? All right. Faith cycle versus the fear cycle. Here's the fear cycle. What does that look like? I don't have enough. I can't spend or invest. I fear lack. I avoid money. I overspend emotionally. I tithe from fear, not from faith. Okay, you can be a tither. Okay, but make sure you know where the money's flowing. You get it? You don't want to be paying off some, I don't think it all goes there, but you don't want to be paying off some sexual abuse that they've been hiding. Let's just be real. Sorry, gotta say it. There is here's a faith cycle, okay? There is always enough. Leadership, is over impulse. All right? Intentional spending. Tithe and trust. No, this is the thing, is when you work for a business, okay? Let's say you work for a company. I think it's really important to know who these owners are. And do your values align with them? Okay? Sometimes you don't get a chance to really know them. That's why I think in today's age, especially right now, it's important to have a brand. It's important to show people who you are. Be, real. Be transparent. Okay? Transparency in today's time is massive. Okay? Because people don't want to give money. They don't know who you are. They don't know who are you really behind the scenes. I tell you what, if I don't hear you say a swear word, I'm questioning you. Because I know you probably swear at home. Do you get it? Show me who you are when you're at home. And those people, that's who I want to spend my money with, or do business with, or partner with. So, faith isn't passive, faith is preparation. Let's talk about the tithing. I have no issue with tithing. I just want to tithe in the places that I know is going to a good cause and a good person and good situation. You know what I mean? Like I would like to give to people that I know their situation, like individuals. You know what I'm saying? That I can see them really trying and they just need a hand up. They just need they just need a little help, you know? And that would get them to their next level. They just, are in a bad situation. Those are the people I want to help. I don't want to help a $1 billion church that isn't willing to help pay or give a baby formula that hasn't eaten for 2 days. I don't want to give to a church that is paying for hiding sexual abuse cases and paying settlement fees and stuff like that with the tithing money. Like, I want to be in charge of where I know the money's going. Okay? If you operate like a business, why are you nonprofit? That's just my feel. And I think, talking about these things, I think that they're going to have to make some changes, which is awesome. Okay? That's what we want. We want to see change. So tithing was never meant to be punishment or a paycheck extraction. Tithing is trust. Okay? And no matter how you feel comfortable tithing, you do you and I'll do me. Okay? The way I want to give. Tithing is surrender. I think it's good to give back. I really do. I think when you have been blessed, you should bless others. All right? And just because an organization tells you have to tithe to them, I think it's a personal thing. And I think that you can tithe to in different ways other than a church building. Does that make sense? Okay. Tithing is partnership with God, the Creator, or Yahweh. It also, it's so good for the soul. Like, I think they have that in place because they know how that works. It's like the giving, it's energy. See? They know what it does for your heart to give. And I know I always feel so good when I'm able to give. If tithing was weaponized in your childhood church, today we rewrite that story. There was a time, I'll be honest, there was a time when, my because watching my parents, they were very scarcity. My mom was on welfare. My dad, was an entrepreneur, but he wasn't crushing it. I mean, we had more than people on welfare, but it wasn't like crazy, you know. It was a different time. Inflation wasn't in place, too. You know what I mean? Things didn't cost as much. He built his home for like 30 something thousand dollars in the 70s. So a lot has changed. So we had more than welfare at that time, but it still wasn't tons. Do you get it? So they didn't I didn't see them like giving. They never gave to a church. They never gave to, you know, people really. I didn't even dare ask for $5. I didn't. I mean, I remember being in third grade and wanting a pair of Nikes, and my mom was like, get a job. So it was money was tight. And so it was kind of that scarcity mindset. Well, I adopted that. And I was a single mom on welfare in the beginning, and so I was very afraid of money. But guess what happens when you're very afraid of giving? It doesn't flow back either. You know what I mean? I got better in time, more that I realized. I learned a lot from my husband that I'm separated with. He is a huge giver. Like I was blown away when I learned that, and he did it all in the hush hush, like there was this lady in our ward, and she lived in our neighborhood. She was a single mom, and I found out like after he did it, but him and another guy in the ward, they went and bought her. She was a single mom, and they went and bought her a brand new fridge, and they did it on, through as a surprise, like as a anonymous. And I found out later about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. I thought it was so cool. And I was in awe over it because we never did that. And I know it made him feel so good to be able to do that. And we were just friends when I was pregnant with my son. And his office manager and like their business, they gave me so much for my son, like a car seat and all these clothes. And I just could not even believe it. I was like, whoa, so grateful. I couldn't even believe it. Um, and then a friend of ours, their daughter got in an injury, or she had something happened to her. I can't remember. She got sick. Anyway, my husband sent $1,000. I just was so blown away. I just couldn't even believe it. It just really opened my eyes to that way of giving. You know what I mean? I never had money like that to give when I was little, and I never saw my parents, and so that's kind of that scarcity. Like you are afraid of money. You know what I mean? And when you do have money, you like hoard it. So that's what this episode is about. So realizing that. The relationship bank. Let's talk about that. Okay, this is what I'm building, y'all. It's a financial ecosystem where bankers, vendor partners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, women in leadership can connect to build wealth through relationships, not cold transactions. I believe that relationships are the new currency. Okay. And in the 23 years that I was a banker in the financial services industry, my business exploded because of my relationships and the way I took care of my people, my clients, my business partners, just all around. Like if I didn't have those loyal relationships, I wouldn't have blown up my business. And so that's what this is. It's an ecosystem of partners that, so like when I was a banker, I had clients that would come to me and say, who do you know that's a realtor that you trust? and I could refer them to my realtor. Who do you know that sells cars? I referred them to my car people. I'd find out what they're looking for in that, and I would give them the right one. Every type of business, payment services, your merchant services, how you pay with a card. I referred for that too. I mean, I had partners within the bank, I had partners outside of the bank, and with banking changing and a lot of branches are closing, relationships are going to be everything. And so I'm building that. I'm excited. If you want more information on that, let me know. So this is a disruptor, by the way. Okay. Banks are losing trust. We are restoring it. Dealers don't trust vendors. We're going to bridge that. Clients don't understand fees. We're going to educate them. Women rarely get a seat at the financial table. We're building that table. All right? Because relationships are the real currency. Money flows where trust exists. The relationship bank is trust in motion. How bankers and vendor partners can get a seat at the table. You have to be authentic, transparent, value add service. It's relational integrity, client first solutions. Like you don't push product. Okay, you build relationships, and if the product or service makes sense for them, if it's something they need that will help their business either save time, help them be more effective, help them scale, if it truly is something that benefits them, then it's something we offer. If it's not, we're not pushing products. We're not pushing services that people don't need. Okay, I don't believe in that. That's not how you build a real business. No sales pitchy. We're not doing that. Long-term partnership focus. Okay, this is the future of finance. The future of finance is relational, and the women are going to lead it. Okay, here's how you can start with this leadership in finance. Faith. Okay, shift. Track your money. Okay, you should look at your bank account, know where you're at, even if you don't have much. Okay, build your emergency opportunity fund. Pay yourself first. Invest before you indulge. If you have excess, start investing in yourself. I mean, you may not have, when you start getting excess, then you can invest in other things. But if you don't have enough money to invest in other things, you are the number one person. You are the first investment, okay? And you should do that daily, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's giving value, whether it's in relationship. You invest in you first, in you and people, okay? Build high income skills. That's another thing. You got to learn new things every day. Stop giving back out of fear. And join a wealth-focused community. Think like a bank. You didn't realize that you could become a bank, right? Yeah. Become your own bank. Wouldn't you like to have that kind of wealth, to be your own bank? Not just financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, all the things, okay? Faith has brought you this far. Leadership takes you the rest of the way. Okay, we're building leaders. And if you're ready to learn how faith, wealth, and relationships collide, join the Women of Action Academy and step into the relationship bank. Okay, I have things coming for the relationship bank, like you're going to get certifications, there's going to be coaching, all the things. So stay tuned for all of that. I'm excited. And if there's anything that I can help you get over, a question, a concept, what's going on with banking question, what do you see with this? I pretend like I'm stupid, but I'm really intelligent. All right. I hope you guys have a great day. And if you know someone that is looking for a new opportunity, if they are in banking and they're fearful they're going to lose their job, if they're in any kind of job, okay? AI is taking over. Okay, you got to learn how to evolve and adapt. And if you don't, you're going to be left behind. So, comment with your questions and let me know how I can help you. Have a great day.